we are very happy as a players. I think every single young player in the locker room should recognize, what kind of.
David Pastrňák made his preseason debut on September 29th against the Philadelphia Flyers, recording an assist and delivering a performance that should have Bruins fans excited for the upcoming season. I had so much fun out there, honestly. It's been a long summer, so today was a perfect reminder of how much I love the game. When I feel like I did today, I know I can do a lot of things, Pastrňák told reporters after the game, according to the official Boston Bruins social media accounts. I want to make something absolutely crystal clear to all my viewers. Everything you're about to see and hear in this comprehensive breakdown consists of real player interviews, actual game performances, verified statistics, and documented facts from official NHL sources. No clickbait, no exaggeration, no speculation. Just the unvarnished truth about David Pastrňák's preseason return and what it means for the Boston Bruins. Let's address the elephant in the room. You've probably seen headlines screaming, "Breaking David Pastrňák," just announced what everyone feared, splashed across social media and video thumbnails. These sensationalized titles suggest something catastrophic happened with Boston star winger. The reality? Nothing could be further from the truth. Pastrňák missed the early portion of training camp due to knee tendonitis, a condition he's managed before. When asked about the injury during his return to practice, Pastrňák himself stated, "Listen, I played with it the whole year last year, so I wouldn't be too worried about it," according to multiple media reports from Bruins training camp. This wasn't a new injury, it wasn't career-threatening, and it certainly wasn't something anyone should fear. Head coach Marco Sturm immediately recognized Pastrňák's impact when he returned to the ice. As soon as he steps on the ice, there's a certain presence we were missing the last few days, Sturm told reporters during training camp. That's the kind of player Pastrňák is for this organization. Irreplaceable, yes, but also healthy and ready to lead this team into the new season. The preseason debut against Philadelphia showcased exactly what makes Pastrňák so valuable. He exited the penalty box and immediately set up Sean Kuraly with a primary assist, demonstrating the hockey IQ and playmaking ability that has made him one of the league's elite wingers. His movement looked fluid, his timing sharp, and most importantly, he showed no signs of being hampered by the knee issue that kept him out of early camp activities. During his media availability at training camp, Pastrňák provided insight into his current mindset and physical condition. "Yeah, pretty good. Feeling good. Obviously putting some good practices in work. So it's good. Feels good."
Yeah, pretty good. Feeling good. Obviously, putting some good practices and work. So it's good. Feels good.
He said when asked about his status. The brevity of his response speaks volumes. This is a non-issue for the player himself, and it should be treated as such by fans and media. What makes this situation even less concerning is the context. NHL players routinely manage minor ailments throughout the season, especially veterans like Pastrňák who log heavy minutes. Taking a cautious approach during September makes perfect sense from both a player health and team management perspective. The Bruins need their 40-goal scorer healthy for October through April, not pushing through unnecessary discomfort in meaningless preseason contests. One of the most significant storylines from training camp has been the emphasis on fixing Boston's power play, which struggled mightily last season. Pastrňák addressed this head-on in his training camp interview, providing rare insight into the team's preparation process. "Yeah, it's awesome. It's obviously second week of the training camp and already working on it again. So it's really important to, obviously focus. It's good on coaching stuff, recognizing we obviously struggled with last year and putting the time to work."
Yeah, it's awesome. It's obviously second week of the training camp and already working on it again. So it's really important to, obviously focus. It's good coaching staff recognizing we obviously struggled with last year and putting the time to work.
Pastrnak explained when asked about the power play preparation. His candor about last season's issues demonstrates the kind of accountability that separates good teams from great ones. The emphasis on special teams work this early in camp signals that both players and coaching staff understand the importance of converting on the man advantage. For us as players, we just have to make sure whoever is there to compete and pretty much get reps again after a couple months off. And, it's going to be very important for us. So hopefully we can fix it, Pastrnak continued.
For us as a players, we just have to make sure whoever is there to compete and pretty much get reps again after a couple months off, and it's going to be very important for us. So hopefully we can fix it.
This focus on systemic improvement rather than individual performance shows maturity from Boston's core players. The power play isn't just about talent; it requires timing, communication, and repetitions. The fact that they're prioritizing this work in September suggests the Bruins are taking a professional, detail-oriented approach to correcting last season's deficiencies. One of the most heartwarming storylines from Bruins training camp has been the return of Zdeno Chara in an advisory role with the organization. For Pastrňák, who came up under Chara's leadership, having the former captain back holds special significance. It's so simple with Zdeno. He has so much to offer, obviously, personally, and with all the experience he had as a player. We are very happy as players. I think every single young player in the locker room should recognize what kind of person we have in this room and use him. He's here for us, Pastrňák said when discussing Chara's return. The reverence in his words reflects the deep respect Chara commands throughout the organization. Pastrňák shared a personal anecdote that illustrates his relationship with the legendary defenseman. I had to call him Mr. Chara, right? That's our rules back home. In the language we speak, we always, when we meet respectful or older people, we have to be respectful. I was respectful at first, and I remember Z right away told me I can call him Dino, he recalled. The story gets even better. I remember I had no gear and he was offering me his gloves, so I was kind of swimming in those gloves. But no, so yeah, I will never forget that, Pastrňák added, highlighting Chara's generosity from their very first meeting in Wilmington. When asked what he learned most from Chara, Pastrňák didn't hesitate. I'm not going to keep it complicated, so I'm just going to go with the work ethic. You see this guy coming every day to the rink and just lead by example, whether it was on the ice or in the gym. With Patrice Bergeron retired and Brad Marchand aging, the Bruins are transitioning to a new leadership structure. Pastrňák and Charlie McAvoy are emerging as the team's co-leaders, and the early returns from training camp suggest this partnership will work. When asked how things are progressing with McAvoy as co-leaders, Pastrňák provided an optimistic assessment. I think we are in a good spot, honestly. Like what we've seen, we have long way to go still. Obviously, like I said, it's the second week of training camp. We are a lot of guys here and a lot of practices working new system, he explained. The Czech superstar emphasized the competitive nature of training camp. Practices are very high and very competitive, and we battle hard. So, sometimes in September, that's all you can do. Just leave it all out there. A lot of practices, a lot of battles, hard work. And so far, we're doing it, so we are prepared the best way physically we can, and everything else, will take care of itself with time, Pastrňák stated. This focus on preparation and process rather than results shows the kind of leadership mentality the Bruins need. Pastrňák isn't making grand pronouncements about Stanley Cups or division titles. He's emphasizing daily work, competition, and building the right habits. That's exactly what veteran leadership looks like. Although Pastrňák didn't play in the comeback victory earlier in the preseason, his reaction to watching his teammates battle back from a deficit revealed his leadership perspective. That goes back to the effort, right? Guys who were competing, obviously it's still September, there's a lot of mistakes, and that's the game we playing, but, guys kept playing, didn't quit, and that's what you're gonna get, he said. His analysis of the comeback shows a veteran understanding of NHL hockey. You play in the best league for a reason. There is a lot of comebacks happens every single night during a season, so you just keep playing till the last whistle. And if you outwork the opponents, sometimes they make the mistakes too. They are only human, Pastrnak explained. This mentality, that consistent effort creates opportunities regardless of the score, is exactly what Boston needs from its core players. The preseason has shown a Bruins team willing to compete for 60 minutes, working within a new system, and taking a professional approach to preparation. Obviously, a couple of nice individual goals, and like I said, I was happy to see the guys made a nice comeback win, Pastrnak added, showing genuine enthusiasm for his teammates' success even while watching from the bench. So here's the bottom line for Bruins fans. David Pastrňák is healthy, motivated, and ready to lead this team into a new era alongside Charlie McAvoy. The knee tendonitis that caused him to miss early training camp is a minor issue he's dealt with before and played through successfully. His preseason debut showed no lingering effects, and his leadership presence is already making an impact on and off the ice. The sensationalized headlines suggesting something to fear are nothing more than clickbait designed to generate panic where none is warranted. Pastrňák's own words and performance tell the real story. A star player excited to get back to work, committed to fixing last season's weaknesses and embracing his role as a leader for the next generation of Bruins. I'll continue bringing you only verified player interviews, real hockey analysis, and documented game breakdowns. No clickbait, no speculation, just the facts about what's actually happening in the NHL based on official sources and verified hockey information.